This episode of Danger Talk is sponsored by Draftkings, America's top-rated daily fantasy app.
Welcome back to Danger Talk, an all-new episode, Russell Wilson's podcast. I'm his co-host, Jeff Dye. Russ, another big week, another big win. How you feeling, bub?
I'm feeling good, but wherever you're at right now, that light is shining good on you, man. Where are you right now?
I got some sunshine on me in Florida. Feeling good.
Oh, Florida. I see that, Jeff Dye. Well, yeah, man, we feel good, man. Obviously, winning the NFC West has been a crazy year just to be on top, to be able to get to where we are right now. Going into the playoffs, get to play at home, which is, as you know, as a Seattle guy, that's a big deal. So
yeah, well, it's a bigger deal when there was fans there and stuff, but it's still a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
So so winning the division this week, huge. Obviously, that's big. I mean, but we talked last week about how the NFC West has famously been like the toughest division, in my opinion, for the last, since you've been in the NFL, in my opinion. How does this division title rank among the other ones you won?
Well, I think to be able to win the NFC West, first of all, is a challenge in itself. But you got to think about everything that's going on, in 2020. Yeah. You think about COVID. You think about the loss of Kobe. I remember we were at the Pro Bowl, but I was about to do the team prayer, and we all find out that Kobe's gone, and Gigi's gone. And just the weight of all that, all of us players have been impacted by that this whole entire season, this whole year. And then you think about COVID and all our families. We can't see our families. We can't see our loved ones. We can't see our mom or our dad sometimes. We can't see our friends who come in and out of the games to support us. And that's been a challenge. Then they think about the rookies, the guys who coming in so excited to get drafted by the Seattle Seahawks or whoever whatever team it is. And the reality is you don't get to practice. You got to be on Zoom calls, so everything that's gone into this season, and obviously the obstacles and the journeys of a normal year on top of that, to be able to win a division title is a big deal, but it doesn't mean anything yet.
I got to say, yeah. And I loved seeing you come in with the Kobe Bryant jersey. That was fresh. The number 8 and 24 on it. I didn't even know they made those. It looked pretty good.
Hey, the Black Mamba jersey, man.
It was fire. You looked good. I will say this though. So you always, after the games, you talk about the games, you talk about the plays, you do all that stuff already. So people know where to find that stuff. But I need you to walk me through 2 of the plays from this week's game. The long pass to David Moore, and then obviously the touchdown to Hollister, the game sealing touchdown. I want to walk me through those. That was amazing.
Well, really, the play to David Moore, that guy can catch, man. Any contested ball, he's going to make every one of those plays. And so you got to give – I'm a big believer as a quarterback, you always got to give a receiver a chance. Sure. You always want to give the guy a chance. So many guys want to make the perfect throw. The perfect throw is the right throw. The right throw is throwing the ball so the guy can have a chance. And so, to me, I got outside the pocket, really kind of needed to get something going. Obviously the Rams defense, one of the top defenses in the game. They got great pass rush and all that stuff. So I was able to get outside the edge, and it was really, I think it was 3rd and 8, and I could have run for the first down easy, but you just trust your instincts and you can trust your guys and you give your receivers a chance to make a big time play. Those momentum plays like that change the game, and sure enough, it flipped the switch for us. And next thing you know, I end up running in for a touchdown there, and then a few plays later. But you can't be afraid to shoot the rock. And that's what we do best. You can't be afraid to make the play. You can't be afraid to to do anything, and especially in championship games, you got to go for it. And sure enough, David Moore made that great catch. And, guys were like, man, why did you just run it? I said, I'm not running that. The guy's open. In my book, if there's an inch of space, he's open. And that's what you got to believe. That's what you got to trust. That's what you work for all year. So the other play, though, Hollister, though, that whole drive, I was thinking Mamba, like just because I wore the jersey, I was feeling it.
Right.
And we had to, it was about 7 minutes and 30 seconds let go on the clock. And so we needed a touchdown to win the game. We had to separate. Our defense had played great. Guys were making plays all day. And so, we end up getting first down. DK came out big on several 3rd down conversions, catch it transition. Next thing you know, it's 3rd and goal or 3rd and 7 or whatever it is. And, Hollister does a great job. But what people don't understand about that play is actually Freddie Swain who actually sets up the play. Swain does a great job of getting vertical, making the receiver come underneath or go over the top and having to struggle underneath of it. And here comes Jacob Hollister for the touchdown. So that was a great play by Freddie Swain. Freddie Swain makes that play, in my opinion. And so those are the nuances of the game. But it was big. And, in those kind of moments, I never fear him. I look forward to him. So, And I'm
I
excited
love
about
that
our
you were thinking Mamba, Mamba, Mamba. That makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, it's got to be the mentality, man.
I love that was in your mind. Also, aren't you supposed to wear like a suits to the game? Isn't there some sort of rule? But they're like, they can't punish you for wearing a Mamba jersey because it's Mamba, right? Like now they got to go. All right, we'll let it. It's Kobe.
I think there's no rules nowadays. I think back in the day, there's a lot of rules about guys wearing suits and all that. But we'll have to ask our guest today about that. But I think
his suits and he can catch. That's the thing.
I'm a suit and tie guy anyway. I like dressing to the nines, they say back in Virginia. So I like dressing up and putting the suit and tie on. But every once in a while, you give a shout out to Sue Bird, you give a shout out to Kobe, people like that. So, but I'm excited about our guest today. Are you excited?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Moore and Hollister, but we got DK Metcalf, but we got the guy. We got the wide receiver. I'm very excited about today.
The coolest part about this guy, too, is that I grew up in Virginia watching him ball and make plays, and I had his jersey, and I thought I could play like him. I thought I could. Sure enough, I end up throwing it. But this guy also, I have a signed football from him, and it's plastered. It's like when where you paint it on the white side, because I was able to. We're actually playing the Arizona Cardinals, and I got to throw a slant route to this guy.
Oh yeah!
And he took it to the house. And the guy is here. The guy is here, and I'm. You ready to announce him, Jeff?
Yeah, but also, didn't you throw that slant route while he was in a suit?
He was in a suit.
No Jeff pads. He was just looking smooth and catching still.
He was in a suit. Hey, and he routed him up. He took it to the house. He always took it to the house. But our guest today is the GOAT.
Let's bring him in.
When you talk about wide receivers, one of the best in the NFL players to ever walk the field, to ever be on the field ever, and an owner, almost every receiving record, just the guy who's done everything you could possibly imagine. Let me read some of these for you here, Jeff Dye.
Famous Seattle Seahawk, Jerry Rice.
Yes, he's a Hall of Fame Seahawk. 1,549 career receptions, 222,895 career receiving yards, 197 career receiving TDs. Jeff Dye, most quarterbacks haven't thrown for that many touchdowns. Okay, we got 208 total touchdowns, 23,546 career all-purpose yards.
Amazing.
Okay, this guy's been a Super Bowl champion multiple times, a Super Bowl MVP. Please welcome the GOAT, the one and only Jerry Rice. Jerry, you there?
Hey, I'm here. Thank you, guys.
Man,
happy holidays.
Man,
Happy
appreciate
holidays.
you, Jerry. Happy holidays, Steve. Man, hey, Jeff Dye. Guess what he's wearing? He's wearing a suit and tie, baby.
He's got a suit, looking smooth. Yeah, that's his thing.
Hey, Russell, I remember you throwing me that slant in Arizona, though, man. I'm out on the football field running routes in a suit and tennis shoes.
I remember it, man. I remember like it was yesterday. That was one of the coolest moments of my career, And normally, Jerry, you know how zoned in I am. I don't say too much to too many people in my pregame warm up, But when it comes to you, and I see you out there, I need you to run a slant route for me, man. Just take it to the house for me. And sure enough, you high stepped it into the end zone.
Jerry.
Yeah, also, hey, Russell, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
That's the part that blows me away. You see so much interaction, before the game with players now, and that was something I could never do.
Yeah.
And because it's almost like I'm in that zone, and I'm just trying to focus on exactly what I need to do that day to help my team to win. So you're the same way.
Oh yeah, I'm old school.
Okay, got you. All right.
He is old school. That's been a pattern on this. All his answers are old school. Russ is an old school guy for sure. Speaking of old school, the two greatest Seahawks to ever put on the Seahawks jersey both wore the number 80, and I want to get to the bottom of that. Jerry Rice wore 80, and Steve Largent wore 80. Is there a story with that? Is there any?
Oh my God, what are you talking about, man? When I went to the facility, Mike Holmgren and also Steve Largent, they were there, and I'm sitting in this room, and Steve, all of a sudden, just said, "Hey, look, I want you to wear the number 80." It completely blew me away, because it was no way I was going to touch, that 80,
Steve Largent, yeah.
Of Steve Largent. And
before Russ, he was our only Seahawk. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That was it was like Jim Zorn, Steve Largent. That's really all we had to hold on to.
So I remember this guy being on the field, his physicality, it was this one ball game, and I think this defensive back was trying to just rough him up a little bit, and this defensive back intercepted the ball, and oh my God, Steve Largent took his head off, and I was, oh my God, that's my guy. Because we don't get that many opportunities to really hit people. So, to see him make that tackle the way he did, it was just no way I was going to touch that. But then it's like when he asked me, now it put that pressure on me because I'm looking at the legend. And I'm really saying to myself, it's no way I can say no to one of the greatest to ever play the game. So that's how that happened. I didn't go in with the intent of wearing number 80 because, out of respect to Steve Largent, the thought didn't really cross my mind.
Yeah, well,
I love that.
I always heard Steve Largent would, on the backside of routes, he would run routes and just make random routes up to really keep the guy guessing and then block him and just destroy the guy. And, and he would
keep
really
the quarterback guessing too.
But he would do that, Jerry. Would you ever do that on the backside of routes?
Yeah. Hey, Russell, because I'm getting a feel for the guy on the backside. And plus, my thing is, I want to completely wear this guy down. I don't want to give him a break where he can, just rest. So if the play was not coming to me, I was sprinting like 60 yards downfield. Or if I was in position to make a block or something like that, I was just that type of player. And I think you hit something right on the nose too. It's like, about receivers, you just got to give guys an opportunity. You throw the ball up and, say a DK Metcalf or something like that, he's going to make that play for you. And I think Joe Montana, he was the same way. Joe knew his players. He knew his primary, his second guy, where his third guy was going to be. And he knew that, certain guys, they were going to make plays for him. So, it's all about having confidence with your teammates.
Well, I call it the shooter mentality, meaning that, when you got great shooters on your team, but, you think about Steph Curry, for example, or Reggie Miller, you think about some of the greatest shooters of all time, some of these guys, you think about the Michael Jordans of the world. And, the reality is that you got to give the best players in the world opportunities, because the more times they get a chance to hit the shot, the more times they're going to hit it when you need it. And you got to give those guys, you got to build the confidence within those players too, as well. And so, it was something that I always, my dad used to always talk about between you and Joe Montana. For example, it was you always gave you an opportunity. You always found it. You always found ways to get open. And it was from the short to intermediate to the deep stuff. And I think that was key. So Jerry, talk to me about that process for you with Joe too, as well, in terms of that relationship real fast.
Well, once I got drafted, by the San Francisco 49ers, because it was crazy, man, because I never thought I was going to get drafted. To be honest, coming out of Mississippi Valley State University, we were doing something really special, putting up outstanding numbers, doing all of that, getting a lot of recognition, but I didn't think I would get to the next level. And when San Francisco traded with the New England Patriots to get down to that 16th spot, they picked me because I thought I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. Because that's America's team, and that was my team back in the day. So they got down to that 16th spot, and I get the call from the greatest player ever. I'm not the greatest player, but the greatest coach ever, Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
And Bill Walsh, they were in New Orleans. I think they were going to play the New Orleans Saints, and he noticed this guy from Mississippi Valley State running across the television, catching everything, running away from everybody, and scoring touchdowns. So he goes back to his scouting department and say, hey, look, you guys got to look at this guy from Mississippi Valley State University. So that's how I got drafted.
That's crazy.
Once I got that call from him, I thought about Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, Dwight Clark, all of these great players. And I'm like, oh my God. And, where will I fit in? And I wanted to catch everything from Montana, everything he threw my way, even doing training camp. I wanted to make that catch because I wanted to gain his confidence. And I put too much pressure on myself. And I was dropping footballs, man. So, all right. So everything rewind just a little bit. Everything goes back because, when you taken in the first round, the expectations are so high. So I'm dropping passes, doing preseason. the crowd is booing me, the media is booing me. And I remember Montana, Bill Walsh, and Bill Walsh told me this. He said, look, you're going to be the greatest football player to ever play the game one day if you just keep working hard. So that's how I poured myself into my work ethic. I don't think I was the most gifted athlete or anything like that. I was not the most talented. But one thing I was going to do, I was going to outwork you. And we just kept working together, throwing the ball around. I got to know Joe really well. I knew his tendencies. I knew when he needed to play for me. And I was going to do everything possible to get open. So we just built that relationship.
Obviously, you had an amazing career, and you're the goat at playing receiver and football and just everything you've done. But talk to me about the business mindset too, because you got goat fuel. You sent me a nice care package. You sent me a sweet care package. I got goat fuel right here. I got tropical berry, naturally flavored goat fuel. Tell me about how this all came about. It's about mindset. It's about everything else. But tell me about the goat fuel real fast.
God, you know what? I was with Muscle Milk for so many years, and I went back to Muscle Milk, which is Flavor Insights now. And I said, look, I want you guys to put together the perfect energy drink, something that was, that would represent me. Because for 20 years, I watched everything that I put in my body. I wanted to be like an engine. I wanted to be like a machine. And, I wanted to start the first quarter and I wanted to end the fourth quarter just like the first quarter. So I was going to wear you out completely. And that's how we came up with Goat Fuel. 15 calories, 200 milligrams of caffeine. But the thing that we put cordyceps mushrooms in there. And you're not going to have the jitters. You're not going to have to drink 3 or 4 drinks or anything like that. It's just going to keep you, just energized. And it's all about the mindset, being the greatest of all time. It doesn't have to just be an athlete.
So there's no goat milk or anything in it. There's no goat product.
No. No goat milk or anything like that.
Fair enough.
But you're a goat. Say it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer. The frontline workers and stuff like that. They're goats, and I think we have the perfect drink. We got 4. I'm excited about the opportunity. My CEO is my daughter.
Oh, nice.
I'm working with her. Then my creative director is her boyfriend. And, it's about 4 of us and we're going strong right now. We're excited about the opportunity and we're going to just continue to try to change the world. That's the most important thing for me, because coming out of this pandemic, I think everybody's going to watch exactly what goes into their bodies. Mm-hmm. They're going to look at the can. They're going to read everything. And we're going to lead the way. We just partnered with GNC and we got a lot of companies in Mississippi is taking off there. I'm excited. I'm working hard, and I'm the face of Goat Fuel, and I'm just having a great time.
Well, how could they choose anybody else, Jerry Rice?
Well, I never think of myself as being the GOAT. That's something that have.
Why not? You are. I mean, that's you should know that.
It sort of makes me feel. It makes me feel a little weird when I hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because I played the game because I love what I was doing, man. I mean, every day that I went to work and really Russell probably could attest to this. Every day that I went to work, I needed to learn something. Mm-hmm. I didn't go to work just to try to get through it.
Yeah.
It was important for me to learn something every day, and I think that really propelled me to a whole different level. And I just kept working. I've never felt like I had arrived. I never felt like I never got content or anything like that. I was always hungry. And I started to see that same work ethic in DK. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely has it.
I don't have the physique like him now. I don't
no one does.
I don't have that. Man, this dude, man, I was looking at this dude.
Yeah, he's photoshopped. That guy is
I tell
free.
DK all the time, I got an 8-pack underneath this. Somewhere underneath it.
But it's all about the love of the game and the work ethic and winning for the fans, winning championships. And I know, Russell, the thing is, man, when you win your division, I know the work is not done, but the
Yeah,
thing is, now you control your own destiny. That was
exactly.
the most important thing for us. And we wanted to try to get that home field advantage. And after that, it's up to you guys to take it to the next level.
Yeah, it's time to play ball. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, I'm excited because we get to go on this one-on-one journey, me and you here, Jerry. Jeff Dye's going to hop back in here in a little bit, but I want to talk about this idea of the mentality that you brought. Just how you took care of your body and everything else, and how you kept the suit so clean. Can you tilt the screen down just a hair, Jerry? Because I want to
See
see
that
this suit.
tie.
That's what I was.
Hey, hey man,
That is
hey,
like to the nines,
hey,
But
the thing is though, hey, Russell, the thing is, I felt that you had to dress a certain way to play a certain way.
yep.
You had to look good to have a great day on the football field. So my uniform, man, my uniform was everything.
Yeah.
The guys they had bets on which pair of pants I was going to wear because I would come in, I probably would try on like maybe about 6 pair of pants. And if there was one that was going to be the perfect one, and I was going to wear it during that football game, my socks had to be brand new. My shoes had to be completely brand new.
You didn't break him in at all.
So, my helmet and everything had to be nice and shiny and clean. And I did it all. And once I put that uniform on, man, I felt like I was ready to go. I had prepared myself the right way. All the work I had done, during practice, because everything during practice for me was 100%.
Yeah.
It was balls out.
Mhm.
If I caught a slant at the 5, I was going to go 95 yards. So it was all about the finishing. And then once this happens in a ball game, you have done this over and over during practice. It's not a shot. You don't have to hesitate or anything. You have done it over and over. So that was my preparation.
Well, I think I want you to take me back to Crawford, Mississippi, because when you talk about taking a slant on the 5 yard line, and I want everybody to hear this because I think it's important for understand how you become great. Because I think in this generation, a lot of people, um, get distracted and think that okay, I got to be this, I got to be that, and I got to do this and that. But the reality is, I call it illusion of choice. There's a lot of people think there's it's an illusion. A lot of people think there's so many different choices to be great. There's so many different ways to be great, but you got to outwork everybody first. It starts with that. And so when you go back to Crawford, Mississippi, take me back there. I think you were one of 8 children. Like take me back to where the root of all that work ethic really came from, because I know you had a really cool childhood and sense of your dad and that relationship and everything else. So
Right.
can you take me there?
Yeah, you know what, man? It started with my parents. My father was a bricklayer, and during the summer, when we weren't in school, I would go work with him. And you talking about demanding work, man? I'm serious. We would leave, and man, the temperature it could get to 112, 120, during the day, from 7 to 4. Then my father on the way home, he would drop me off at practice at the high school, and I had to practice for about 2 hours. And I would practice for about 2 hours. Then after that, I didn't I didn't have a ride home, so I would have to run home.
Yeah.
And it was like, we didn't have the lights. We were out in the country. It was dark, and you would see basically by the moon. And I would run probably about 5 miles to get home. So that just taught me about hard work, and I really appreciated how my father, he was the protector, he was the provider and stuff like that. And that was something that I took a lot of pride in. And I'm gonna tell you this story, man. This is crazy because I never thought about playing football. But I would ask my father and my mother for Christmas a football, and I would throw this thing around. Every Christmas I would get a football and I would throw it around.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I had no idea I was going to play football. And around my sophomore year, I was playing hooky one day, and I decided I
Hmm.
didn't want to go to class. And we had this
Yeah.
little,
You skipping
this,
school?
yeah,
Jerry, I
man.
skipping
We had this
school.
little spot. We had this little spot behind the building that, if you didn't want to go to class, you would go to that spot. And the principal walked up behind me, scared me, noticed I could run really fast. So after he disciplined me a certain way, and we got disciplined a
Hard back
certain
then.
way in the South.
Yeah.
He wanted me to go out for the football team. I went out for the team, and I was not the most, talented player, but I felt if I really work at this, maybe I could become a starter. I became a starter. Then that's how everything just got started, man. But it's crazy. I had no intent on playing football. I had a brother that played at Jackson State University. He was a center there, but I was this little skinny guy walking around with huge feet, big hands. Everybody would notice my hands and my feet before they notice me. And I was just like a nerd, man. And
I
I
love it.
started playing, football.
Well, I think that's how you probably got the nickname World, right? I mean, where does nickname come from? Because you over there playing hooky and sneaking out and missing school. Kids, you didn't hear that, by the way. And and then the principal sees you take off and run all fast and everything else. But so that's how Jerry Rice gets into football and starts loving the game and starts getting
Yeah,
really trying at it. And but how did that all come to fruition in terms of you go and you get the nickname World. First of all, how did this nickname come together? Like, who put this together for you?
when I got to Mississippi Valley State University, a predominant black school, very small school, uh, I got the nickname World. They felt like I could catch anything in the world, man.
Yeah.
If the ball was coming my way, I would make the catch. And we were doing something special at Mississippi Valley. We were throwing the ball like 90% of the time. We were using the no huddle, and we were just destroying teams.
What year is
And
this? What
yeah,
year is this in time?
oh my God, because I got to Mississippi Valley in '81.
Okay. So in the '80s, you guys
So
were slinging it,
yeah,
going
we
around.
were slinging it, man. We were doing something different, and you see where the game has gone now, because I never thought I would see the run pass option. Because
Mhm.
we ran the West Coast offense, and everything was timing. If Joe was going to throw a slant route, 3 steps, ball gone. If he's going to throw like a square out or a hook or something like that, 5 step, ball gone. A go route, 9 route, be 7 step, one little hit, ball is gone. So everything was timing. So, we were throwing the ball 90% of the time at Mississippi Valley. Then we got so much recognition, and that's how everything got started, man. But I always had that thing about my uniform and making that presentation, even at Valley and stuff like that. We didn't have all the expensive equipment, all of that stuff. I remember, even taking my practice pants, to the dorm, and I would wash my pants and do all that stuff. But I think it just got me ready for the next level, and and I realized that nothing comes easy.
Yeah.
You have to work for everything every day. And Bill Walsh always told me this, man. He said, "Look, if you don't put the work in, you don't have a chance.
Mm.
If you mess around all week long and you feel like, okay, now it's game time on that Sunday, somehow I'm gonna turn it up and go make those plays. No, it's not gonna happen. Doing those like that Sunday, that Monday, or those playoff games or those Super Bowls. I had one speed, and that was it. And my teammates, they thought I was crazy because they were like, Jerry, why are you still working so hard? Why you're the man. You don't have to do that anymore. I felt like I needed to set the example. If I set the example and I practice a certain way, and my teammates, if they buy into it, now we have a cohesive group. We have an engine, and we're going to be unstoppable. Because that those guys pretty much had your back.
Well, I think that's huge to be able to set your team up to show this is the standard. Like to create that standard, to have that deliberate season and training, and to go from the 5 yard line, like you said, all the way 95 yards when Joe Montana would throw you that slant route every rep. And I know Joe would always talk about that with you, and how you took every rep to the house. And that's something that my dad always taught me. You can't, like, one of the things that bothers me is, like, if a guy takes a ball and stops at the 5 yard line. You already gotten all the way down there. Like, why would you turn around now? Like, but like, so like, keep going. Like, I always try to get on guys about that, but just finish the reps. And so we have several guys, a lot of guys that do that, which is great. They finish the rep, which is huge to me. And so a few things I want to talk to you about before. I know you got a busy day and we're all rolling. I'm getting ready for your 49ers over here, just so you know. Yeah. I'm talking to Jerry Rice right now, having a good time, getting ready for the last game of this regular season. But I want to talk about one. I want you to quickly talk to me about how significant this relationship with you and Joe was, and then kind of the comparison with Joe and Steve. But then also, I want you to talk about just these championship teams. You've won the Super Bowl 3 times, right? 3-time Super Bowl winner, is that right?
Right.
3-time
right.
Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP. I want to kind of bring up some of these games, but talk to me about just that relationship between Joe and your relationship with him and how connected that was. But also Steve, you kind of talked about it a little bit, and how are they different? Because I love watching great quarterbacks, and both of them were great.
Well, the thing about, both guys, you talking about complete professionals that came to work every day. And we knew that if we had those guys under center and we had some time on the clock, they could lead us downfield and win that football game. Now, Joe, on the other hand, my relationship with Joe, it was so smooth. I mean, the timing of everything, he knew my body language. He knew exactly when I was getting ready to come out of the cut, so he could let the ball go. And he had the confidence in me that I was going to, fight for the ball or make that play. And it was just like, and I always use this as an example. My manager, she always gets on me about this, and I have told Joe this too. I said, Joe, man, if you were a female, I would date you because we got such great chemistry. So, we would joke around about that. But now think about this transition of Steve Young, a lefty. I had never caught a ball from a lefty.
That's crazy how much different the ball is. People understand how the ball comes in, the trajectory of the ball comes in differently too.
Yeah, the different spin on the ball. So now everything that I had developed with Joe, I had to put that on the back burner and I had to transition to Steve. And I was able to do that because, I was one of those guys that was always going to just make plays for you. I was going to somehow build a relationship, gain your confidence. So doing individual drills, I had this trainer, this equipment guy. He was a lefty, and I would catch so many balls from him, just in between drills. So I got used to and I got acclimated to Steve. And Steve and I, we went on. We had the touchdown record for a long time until I think Peyton Manning and also
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison broke that record. Now I think Tom Brady and Gronk, they have it now. But I was able to adjust to Steve. And I told Steve, because I said, Steve, man, you got to stay in the pocket a little bit longer, man, because here's the deal. You're hurting my numbers right now, okay? Every time you run with that football, because, I never thought I would see the transition where the dual quarterback. And you are one of the best when it comes to that. But what I noticed about you too is that when you get out of the pocket, you keep your eyes downfield. You're still looking to make that play.
Yeah, I'm not looking to run it.
Yeah, and Steve Young, he was the same way. He was more of a runner at first, then he wanted to become more of a pocket passer. And after that, man, I feel like I've had two of the greatest quarterbacks ever played a game. But I could have easily, after leaving Joe, had this ego where I said, you know what, man, you need to just adjust to me. But no, I wanted to adjust to Steve. And once I did that, man, we were able to do just great things on the football field.
Boy, it's been an exciting football season, hasn't it? I mean, lucky for us football fans, there's still more action to be had. You may not have been crowned the champion in your traditional fantasy football league, but DraftKings is here to help you make it rain. DraftKings is America's leading daily fantasy app, paying out over $7 billion to their players. If you haven't tried DraftKings yet, head to the App Store now because you don't want to miss this. Draft your lineup and feel the sweat like never before. Every run, pass, and catch means more with DraftKings. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Let's not forget that basketball season is now in full swing, and DraftKings has us covered with millions and prizes up for grabs. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Get in the game right from your couch. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now and use code DangerTalk for a limited time. New customers can get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes this week. Don't miss out on this week's action. Enter code DangerTalk to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes with your first deposit. That's code DangerTalk only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. I have images of, all these videos I've seen of you in your off season. And I'll take DK, for example, right? I mean, this guy trains like crazy. And we spent a lot of time together, me and him in Austin. Went down to Mexico, spent a week and a half down there. Then we go back to San Diego and spent almost a month there. He's basically living with me for a month and a half for the most part. So we spent a lot of time together getting the work in. You're training, climbing, running the hills, running the mountains, right, and doing all that stuff and everything else. One, I think, for you in that process of, you said, I want to finish the fourth quarter like I started the first, and to be able to do that and having that mentality, I want to tire this guy out, and I want that guy to know I'm going to outwork you today. But I think one of the key things about all of that is how has that and that mentality, did you see somebody, besides running in Mississippi when you were younger and all that, did you see somebody before you do that when you first got there, or was that just you just brought that? And then also for you and Joe and Steve, did you guys actually work together a lot in the off season? Because I don't know, I know you guys had a lot, 2-a-days and even 3-a-days at times, but we don't have that nowadays. So now guys want to be all separate and away. But what about your work ethic together? Did you guys spend a lot of time together in the off season, or was it just you running up the mountains and catching bricks?
No, you know what? We really didn't spend that much time during the off season.
You did or did not?
Now, once training camp started, that was it. And it was all about just the hard work that we were, just putting out on the football field. Running the hills and stuff like that, the infamous hill, all of that. It was like, it was a way of me to torture my body, because I just felt in the fourth quarter, you're going to have to, you're going to have to play like you're just starting the game. A lot of guys in the fourth quarter, they're tired. They don't want the ball. They don't want to make the play. You look at Michael Jordan, you look at Larry Bird, you look at all the great players, they wanted the ball. And I was the same way, during the fourth quarter. And if I didn't make that play, then I deal with the consequences. But, I felt I had conditioned myself the right way. Running that hill, the last 800 meters is like completely uphill, and it was going to test everything in your body. And a lot of guys couldn't endure that. I remember Terrell Owens when he first came, then J.J. Stokes, all those guys, they thought I was crazy. Like, how can you put your body through this? But, it's like once you put your body through that, now doing a pressure situation when everything is on the line, I'm ready. I'm jumping around, I'm bouncing, and I'm raring to go. And I think that's why I was able to do so many great things during the fourth quarter. And, it's like during training camp, I would work with Steve and also Joe. We would throw some extra balls after practice and stuff like that. But I just got to know those guys really well. And I think it was also that fear of failure that was the thing that really pushed me. Because I never wanted to let anyone down, like my family in Crawford, Mississippi, or, the high school that I went to, Mississippi Valley State, the San Francisco 49ers, the fans, all of that stuff, man. So it was that fear that brought out the best in me. And you hear people say it's just a game. No, I never looked at it just as just a game. I wanted to win Super Bowls. That was my main focus. And I was able to go to 4 and I won 3 and I was the MVP of 1. But, it was all about just leading by example, man. And that fear of failure that just kept pushing me.
Well, I got to get you and DK together, because I think me, you, DK spending some time together in the off season would be cool. It'd be a treat if you kept some free time. I know you. I'm not sure if this goes against the 49er rule or not, but I think for a guy like DK who's 22, 23 years old, to be able to learn from you and be around you would be an amazing experience
You
for
know, I
him
can
in his
still
career.
run routes with him, right?
Hey, you can still run routes. Okay, I'm ready. Hey, I want to see it because I would love for you to teach him a trick or two. But yeah, I mean,
Hey, hey, look, it's my time to flip the switch just a little bit, man, because you were, 2012, you were drafted in round 3, 75th player taken.
Mhm.
And look at you now, man. Look what you doing, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a blessing for sure. Yeah.
Man, I take my hat off to you, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, and represent the West the right way. And I know you're looking forward to trying to get back to that big dance again, and try to get another Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's always the intent, man. Like you said, I think you wake up every morning trying to win it all. And I've been blessed. I thank God every day because He's given me the opportunity. He's graced me with the ability to do what I get to do. And I think there's so many quarterbacks, so many young kids that want to be in my position in terms of they may be smaller, maybe this, they may be the underdog. It's very similar to you consider the underdog, small
Yeah.
school, this and that. And I think to be able to have that opportunity to create opportunity, I want that to be part of my legacy. Man, like Russell Wilson created opportunity for people,
There you
man. Like
there you
that,
go.
man, that's what he created. He created opportunity. When I think about your legacy, Jared, you mean you gave people vision. You showed what hard work was. I think that's so critical. And I before you go, and I know we're gonna bring Jeff Dye back in for a hot second, do a little fun little game with your 2-minute drill and all that. But one key question for you that I have before we take off here, and you go. I think about all your stats and everything that you've done. I mean, you've got I don't know, freaking millions of stats and things that you've done all over. But when I think about all the amazing things you've done, um, to me, when I think about your legacy, your career, your Hall of Fame career, when you put that jacket on and everything else, what advice would you give me for my last 15 years? If you could give me that goat fuel for the
Yeah.
last 15, right? What would the last 15 look like? And how do I get there?
You know what, man? I know for me, after year 10, uh,
Mhm.
I started thinking about, you know what, this is coming to an end. I'm not going to be able to do what I've been doing for so many years, playing the game that I love playing. And I said, wow, okay. Now, what will replace that? I tell guys that are playing today, make sure you invest your money the right way. Don't just go through your money, because you're not going to be able to play this game forever.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to transition into something that's going to still be a major part of your life where you're excited about. So, I had opportunities when I came out of when I retired, and I remember doing Dancing with the Stars. Remember doing all these shows
Yeah,
and,
you
and
did it.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's like I was trying to find myself. Then all of a sudden it's like, okay, Goat Fuel. This really sparked me again. This is like my baby. This is like my Super Bowl and stuff like that, and my involvement in it, and also just putting something out there healthier for people. So that really, you know, uh, gave me that extra incentive. I would tell you, enjoy every second of it. Enjoy every second. Always give 100%. Don't leave anything on the football field.
Mhm.
Because when you walk away, man, and I still can say this today. When I look back at my career, I don't have a question about anything. I mean, the preparation, the way I practiced, the way I felt like I motivated my teammates and stuff like that, and the way I led by example, I have no regrets. I left everything on the football field. So it's a game. It's the greatest game ever. But you know that eventually it's going to come to an end, and you should cherish it every day that you put that uniform on, because one day you're not going to be able to put that uniform on. and you're not going to be able to be in front of 60 to 80,000 people where you inspire them to be great just by catching a football.
Mm-hmm. It's
So,
crazy, isn't it?
so you got to love, man, you got to love what you're doing right now. And you got to respect the game. And it's all about just leaving everything out on that football field.
Well, I think you definitely have left everything out on the football field. I mean, I don't know if you could have any more yet. 22,895 career receiving yards, 197 career touchdowns. That's a lot of catches. That's a lot of mileage, and you've definitely done it. I'm gonna bring Jeff Dye back in here before you go, but Jerry, I think that you've meant the world to me because you've really taught me about dedication. You helped show my dad and my mom, and they were the people in my everyday life that taught me dedication and everything else. But from an athlete standpoint, I mean, I think about all-time greats. Like I think about you teaching me about dedication. I think about a guy like Kobe Bryant. I think about a person like Derek Jeter. I think about a person like Michael Jordan. I think about a person like Serena Williams.
Right.
So dedicated to her craft. Like, so when I think about greatness, I think about you all. And you, for football, you helped set the tone for what work ethic was like. And I gotta go to this mountain one of these days and to see if how far I can get, because I don't know if I can get as far as you can get, but I love to do it. But man, it's been an honor,
welcome.
and that would be a blast. I don't know if the San Francisco area would let me fly out there and get to the mountain or not, but it would be fun to have a blast. And obviously we're playing the 49ers this week, which would be a great game. But man, it's been a pleasure. And Jeff Dye, you back?
I'm here, man. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
I want to remind you guys, Russ, and you, Jerry, that 99% of society, 99.9% of society isn't going to get to be a Hall of Fame football player or a pro athlete or even touch that even the sandals that you guys have. So I want to remind you, you guys inspire people to get up and win the day. You inspire regular people to work hard, and you inspire regular people to be better at what they do. And I think we should recognize that also, that everyone that's listening to this, man, you guys are talking about some big stuff, but it's also larger than football for sure.
Yeah, well, I think it's about the work ethic, and God's given us all whatever our talent is. And so if we can use that talent, we can use it to the fullest and not just use it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Use it for the person next to you.
I want to be the Jerry Rice of comedy. I want to be the Russell Wilson of my family. I want to be those things. I think that's big. It's no offense, but it's bigger than football.
Yeah, and I still have to pinch myself because I can't believe that I got the opportunity to live a dream of playing professional football.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially from Mississippi, small town, you coming out.
And he got to play for the Seahawks, which is what's the most important to us.
Playing for the Seahawks. I mean, he's a Seahawk. Like, what's the Seahawk always?
He's one of us. He's one of us, Russ.
Jerry, I think we should go back into time and, take your Canton, Ohio, and your head, and take the jacket, and just put a Seahawks logo on. I think it makes sense.
Wait, you're pushing this a little too far now. Okay.
Yeah, going to the Hall of Fame.
I had a great time. I had a great
time
in Seattle, though. I really did.
Yeah, everybody. The stories about Jerry Rice in Seattle. You always get done with practice, and you go up to the treadmill, go up to the bike. And you always bike after about an hour after, and just sweat and just drench. But Jeff Dye, you got your 2-minute drill. I love 2-minute drill.
I got the 2-minute drill, which is actually.
I like throwing to a guy like Jerry Rice. So let's do the 2-minute drill. You want to talk about it real fast?
Yes, sir. All right, Jerry. Here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna give you. The 2-minute drill is huge in football. That's crunch time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you rapid fire questions. We have 2 minutes. I'm gonna try to get as many as possible, and you're gonna go first. Then Russ will answer the question or a variation of it, and just give me the fastest thing you can do. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yep.
All right. 2 minutes on the clock, producers. All right. And sprints or endurance run?
Endurance.
Sprints.
Okay. Favorite non-football athlete to watch currently?
Non-football?
Yeah. Could be basketball, could be hockey.
LeBron James.
That's a good one. I'm gonna go with. I like watching Steph Curry because it's watching him go against the odds of just everything he can do, just how he does it.
All right, Dancing with the Stars or Shark Tank?
Dancing with the Stars.
I'm gonna go with Dancing with the Stars. Jerry Rice on Dancing with the Stars.
What feels better? What feels better, a touchdown or a birdie?
A touchdown.
That's easy.
What about an eagle?
I know Jerry's got a good handicap over there playing all that golf.
Oh, he had to throw an eagle in there.
I know Jerry's playing all that handicap golf over there. But for me, I'm going to go with the touchdown for sure. So letting it spin, letting the guy catch it, there's nothing better.
All right, 60 seconds. You guys are both the greatest, but what is something you're bad at besides technology, Jerry?
Cooking.
Okay.
I'm not a good cook.
Man, I would say I'm not good at I'm not a jumper. Like I'm a ground animal. Like I'm gonna move side to side, this whole jumping thing, like box jumps. I'm like, oh god, I gotta do box jumps again. Like I'm not a major jumper.
30 seconds left. Jerry, what's your favorite route to run? And Russ, what's your favorite route to throw?
The Dino is post, corner, post.
Yeah, he mastered that route. I would say there's nothing better than letting a guy run underneath a deep go ball, a deep post route. One of those two, letting a guy run underneath it. That's always fun.
I thought you were going to say to DK. Favorite country to visit? 10 seconds.
Favorite country to visit? I guess London.
Okay.
Yeah, London was probably my favorite place. I would say London, or I would say Japan.
I like it.
London. We had so many 49er fans. It was unbelievable.
Russ always talks about France. I thought for sure he was going to say France. But here's the thing. That is our 2-minute drill. But one more final question. We're going into overtime. I know you got to go, Jerry. Who wins this week, Seahawks or the San Francisco 49ers? You know the answer, Jerry. You know the answer.
Niners.
Okay.
What?
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to play the
Hey,
field.
Russell, you're not going to play.
Huh? Yes, I'm playing. Oh, I'm playing, Jerry. You know me. I'm playing.
Carol doesn't do
I'm
that.
playing.
That stuff.
I'm playing. I'm bringing it all. Listen,
All
Jerry,
right.
it's been amazing, man. Jerry, we do a segment called Everyday Hero. We always try to give something to somebody who's been a hero or some individual. Could be guy or girl. We have a company called Good Man Brand. We always give something cool. Do you have an everyday hero before you take off? Somebody that has done something really cool, or somebody is doing really something special in the community?
God, man, I do. God, Steve and I, we do like the 49er Academy.
Yeah.
Steve is doing a lot of stuff, and I'm glad to be just teaming up with him. He does it. He did it on the field, man. He's doing it in business, but he's also giving back, to the community. So, I would say Steve Young.
All right, I'm going to send Steve Young and Jerry Rice from Good Man Brand and just shout you guys out. Thank you for everything you've done, Jerry. You are a true inspiration, man. You're the greatest of all time. I appreciate you. And, Randy Moss is on the show. It
was a pleasure.
And both of you guys are some of my favorites. So we're gonna have an off-season talk between us and you and DK and myself.
Hey, we got to do that, man. But I got much love for that guy, man. Okay.
Yeah, of course, man. I appreciate you. It's a pleasure. And we'll see you this weekend, Jerry.
All right. Okay.
All right, baby. I'll see you. Jeff Dye, man. We had the one and only Jerry Rice on the show, man. This DangerTalk season has been amazing. Think about all the people that we've had. But Jerry Rice, man, he's the legends of legends. He's the guy that's separated
you're not
everything.
really going to send Good Man Brand to the 49ers Steve Young, are you? Come on, you can't do that.
I
can't do that.
Put a couple holes in the jacket or something like that, but
there it is.
But yeah, man, I think about everybody we've had. Jerry has meant a lot to football players around the world, but a lot to just people in general. His work ethic. Everybody knows who Jerry Rice is. Jerry Rice, man, he separated himself. So if you look at his numbers compared to other guys, there's not anybody close to the kind of numbers he's had.
He just is football. I remember when he played for the Raiders, he got smashed up the middle, and he was actually hit unconscious, and he still scooped the ball in unconscious. His arms just knew I gotta protect the football. It's insane. He is football.
I mean, when you think about 1,549, career receptions, I mean, that's a lot of freaking catches.
Yeah, I have 0.
197 career touchdown receptions. I mean, most quarterbacks haven't even thrown it. But it's a pleasure, to be able to talk to him. And I think even for you and I, obviously me playing football, it means a lot. But even for you, Jeff, being a comedian, it shows how much work ethic and how much overcoming obstacles and how he looked forward to it. I mean, just the 5-mile run he would go on right after doing all the bricklaying and everything else he would do. I mean, so I think that for anybody who wants to, be inspired, and make sure you listen to Jerry's conversation with us. I think it was amazing to have that conversation, to go through it, and just to be able to listen to everything that he's done. And pretty cool.
And there's a pattern.
What'd you learn from him?
We're noticing a real pattern on this podcast too. Like you referenced that you're like an undersized quarterback a number of times over the course of the season of this podcast. Sue Bird said she's not the most athletic. She was just like, the hardest working, the most focused. Jerry said he didn't even think he'd get drafted. And it was about, just that he was going to not be outworked, and he didn't feel like he was just the most dedicated. There's a straight pattern with almost every single athlete of like, I wasn't the most. This wasn't natural. It wasn't given to me. I earned it. I worked hard. I was committed to it. I loved it, with the exception of Shaq. I mean, that guy is a physical specimen. But the rest, everyone else is talking about, like how they had to overcome that to become the best.
Yeah, well, I think what's been really cool is, thinking about some of my teammates. I mean, obviously, you think about the DKs, the Tylers, those guys. But you think about even a guy who hasn't gotten the opportunity or done, hasn't come from the biggest school. A guy like Penny Hart. Many people may not even fully know who he is, but this guy has been unbelievable for us this year. How hard he's worked, how much he's put in. But like, if you watch this guy practice, every rep, he runs
great.
Full speed at the house, and he's not making the most amount of money, or he's not this or that. What everybody think this and this. Obviously they're gonna talk about DK. Obviously gonna talk about Tyler. But like, just what I appreciate about a person like like Penny Hart, for example, is every rep he runs to the house. Like other guys, I've been around, and just players that work so hard for that opportunity. They love the game so much, and so that is something that we can control. Is how we. And he talked about professional dressing. I always say, dress for the job you want, not the job you got. Like always dressing for that, and not just physically, but also mentally. I think that's where that whole goat fuel thing kind of came about for him and all that. But I think it's so important to be intentional with our time, intentional with our space. And I think that's the one thing that I've learned this season, really in particular with 2020 and everything that's gone on. I think about, everything that went on with Kobe. I think about, like I kind of mentioned those, my kind of Mount Rushmore of athletes in a way. But when I think about people like Jerry Rice, when I think about people like Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, a person like Kobe Bryant, when I think about them, I always was fascinated because they always put the work ethic in. They always did everything full speed. They always did the extra reps. They always stayed longer. They were always there, the first ones there. And I think those are things that we can all control, and how we take about our professionalism, I think, is so critical. And I think in the space of all the people that we've had so far in the show, when you think about all the people we've had so far in the show, you think about, Shaq, you think about, John David Washington, and we've had just finished with Jerry Rice, but you think about all those people that we've had. You think about CP3 coming on the show, Chris Paul, Candace Parker, King Griffey Jr. was one of our favorites, and I being a Seattle crew. Matthew McConaughey. He talked about Matthew McConaughey talking about how he would be on set and he'd be so connected to the scene. And when they say it's a wrap, he'd be like, "What? What are we talking about? The scene?" He gets so lost in the moment and so lost in the process that it didn't affect him, and he would be so into it. You think about obviously Joe Montana, and listen to Joe and Jerry talking the dialogue about how they were so intertwined, interconnected. I think that's fascinating to think about. Obviously Mike Tyson. His work ethic and just how he battled and how he prepared all the time. And you going from 300 and I think it was 320 pounds or whatever, it went down to 212 or whatever it was.
Had a goal
down for the fight. Just think about that. Just the work ethic that his wife inspired him, and takes that one word. His wife said, "Hey, hop on the treadmill and just start going. We'll start moving." and 1 mile became 2, and 2 miles became 4, and 4 became 8, and just how that work ethic was so prevalent and evident. Think about Mark Cuban. You think about how he came out of really nothing and just building on his own. Sierra, obviously having her on the show is amazing, and just I get to see it every day. Her work ethic, her work ethic is what sets her apart. Her work ethic, her heart, but her work ethic. Dwayne Wade, a guy who was so talented and he created his own moves. He created the little, I call it the Euro hop. He's the one that really kind of really developed that, in my opinion. Obviously Aaron Andrews, who was a dancer and just, cheerleader and all that kind of stuff. But she worked for as many years as she's done this, and the respect that she has across the NFL and sports and as a whole. She's a Hall of Fame woman in terms of what she does. And so it's been amazing to think about the business that she's created. And I love thinking about like Shaq, thinking about going back to him is like all the business, like the fact that he's a policeman, the fact that he's a DJ, the fact that he has business over here, business over there.
Those pizza shops, the guy's in everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. I think obviously Sue Bird, who we had last week, was one of my favorite athletes, especially women athletes, who's done so much for the game of basketball, but so much for so many others because she created opportunity. Sue Bird reminds me of Jerry Rice. Sue Bird and Jerry Rice are like our goats, because when you think about, it's not just the physical talent that they had. Obviously they were talented, but they worked at creating the opportunities and being better, but also making their teammates better. So that any room they go into, any stadium, any arena, wherever they are, they're making other people around them better. So Sue Bird and Jerry are some of my favorites. So it's been fun, man. It's been exciting just to think about everybody we've had so far along the process. And so it's been cool.
It's wild. And one thing I've noticed is that, everyone loves what they do. Every person that we've had like truly loved the thing that they're known for and that they do. All the things they commit to, they love it. They love doing it. So it's fun to listen to them talk about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think in life you have to love what you do. At a certain point, there's times where there's times where you do things because you have to do them, and you got to pay the bills, and you got to do this, you got to do that, but there's also times where you got to find your biggest passion. What do you absolutely love? Because at some point, this life's going to end. As Jerry talked about, which I loved his advice to me, is that I said, Jerry, for the next 15 years, if I could play another 15 years, what would you tell me for the last 15? And what was really cool was listening to him talk about enjoy the day. Don't worry about the rest of it, but just enjoy the day. For me, I really love learning. Like I want to know the game so well. I think about, the importance of knowing the game so well that people just can't stop you out there. That there's going to be bumps along the road and everything else, but anytime the game's on the line, like I want everybody to know we're going to win, and I want the other team to know, shit, like, damn, like he got the ball again. Like, dang, like how do we give him a chance? Like every time I want the other team to know, like, sorry, it's over. Like that's the mentality you got to have, and to be able to gain so much knowledge, but also be free at the same time. Because you can have as much knowledge as you want, but you got to be free. You got to play the game and trust your instincts and trust what you know. And
is that the first time you've thought about that there will be a time you won't be playing football? Like when Jerry said there's going to be a time when you can't put on the pads and you're not going to be out on that field in front of people. Is that the first time you've considered like, hey, he's right. There is going to be a time where I'm Jerry Rice in the suit talking to a Russell Wilson. They're a future Russell Wilson type.
Yeah, no, it's not the first time. The first time I ever really thought about it was my first day in the NFL. We had a rookie symposium, and all the rookies, and from Andrew Luck to Robert Griffins, myself, to all these guys who were drafted, all the guys who just got drafted in the first round all the way to the last round. We're all in one big, huge, massive room. And we were sitting, you sit with your team, so I was sitting with the Seattle Seahawks right in the middle row, and the guy walks out. He walks out, and everybody's talking and mumbling and everything. And all of a sudden, that guy walks out, and everybody gets quiet. It's like the first day of class, And the guy walks out, and he says, "What does the NFL stand for?" Like, this guy, like National Football League, duh. He's like, wrong. It stands for not for long. That was the first day.
It's amazing.
And so for me, my parents, because my dad had played a short period of time, but my parents had always set me up for life after the game. And so for me, my mind had always thought about, okay, like be as great as you want to be great at this and give everything you have. And the parable of a person of 10 talents, 5 and 1. Like I got 10 talents. Like God, like I want to use every bit of my talents to please you.
Don't you think Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin Jr. heard "not for long" and maybe took it a little too literally?
Stop. Listen, I think those guys, man, unfortunately, they had to go through injuries and stuff. But the reason why it's not for long is because of these injuries, and things happen, and you really do have to, and it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things that, but how do you handle it and how do you overcome it? And I think that those guys were top of their game. But I do think for me is that I wanted to set up life after the game. And what's interesting is that when you come into the game as a third round pick, 75th pick overall, people are like, he ain't going to make it. He sucks. He's too small. Yeah, he ain't this. He ain't that. And you hear all the whispers. And we got the combine. He's not. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to do it. I don't know if he's got it. I don't know. And you're walking up there and they say he's 5'10", 5'8", or 5'10", 7'8". He's 206 pounds, 210 pounds, whatever. Russell Wilson. They call your number out, and it feels like you're in a show or something like that. The next thing you know, you walk down the steps, and all that was running through my mind is, I'm gonna prove every single one of you wrong. I'm gonna prove every single one of you wrong, and I can't wait till you see. And so, for me, I think a person like Jerry, when he's running up that hill and running up the mountain, which that's a lot of running, right? But I think for him, he can't do it. He's from small school. He's maybe too small. He's not fast enough. And for me, what I really connected with Jerry today was I hear the whispers and I hear the sounds, but I don't receive them. To me, it's one of those things that I'm going to run through them. For Jerry, he's going to run past you. For me, I'm going to throw it past you. But it's like one of those things that, man, like you wake up every day inspired to inspire someone else. I think people like Kobe Bryant, did that for me. That's why I wore the Mamba jersey this weekend. Like, that's why I wore the black 8 and 24 on the back. Because I'm going to the 2020, end of 2020, and it's like, all this is happening. You lose the person you've admired for a long time, and seen do so many great things, and somebody who's overcome, and just obviously clutch DNA is run through his veins, and Kobe and everything else, and we lose somebody that we all care about and watched and for so many years, and you got to have that mentality. So for anybody that's waking up, like, you got to believe that you can be great. And I think so many times people don't believe that they can be great because they hear this.
Right.
And they receive it. So that blocks them from their destiny. It blocks them from where they really should go. And for me, what I really got inspired by today, what I learned today was that Jerry ignored all of that and stayed focused on the task. He wanted to win Super Bowls. He wanted to do this. But he talked about work ethic because we can control that. We can control our work ethic. And so that's what I loved. And hopefully I can continue to do what I've done over the years, but also try to inspire the next kid, the next generation, my kids, so they can inspire somebody else.
Yeah.
And if we do that, then we got a chance. And so it's been fun on Danger Talk, and it's been fun learning from each individual. And yeah, man, it's been an absolute blast. Been really cool, man.
It's been wild. I mean, we've had, I think every single guest has been a legend of something. And also we should also note, they're not just great at their sport or their craft or their career, dedicated husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends, and they like fathers and I loved hearing that kind of element of all these people also. It's been very, very inspiring.
Yeah, it's been cool. So listen, Danger Talk. It's been fun. We got one more episode, I think, here, and of this season, and the playoffs time. If playoffs are coming up, playoffs. You know,
Woo!
so,
I'm
I
excited.
get wrong. You ready to roll? We'll win it all, Jeff Dye. You think so?
Yes, sir. I
Let's
say
get
it
it
every
done.
year, but it's this year too.
We
We got it.
chance. The boys got a chance. Okay, man. Well, listen, but I hope you enjoy Florida. Be safe out there.
Yes, sir.
You know, and have your fun. But I will see you soon, man.
I'll see you
appreciate
next
you.
week, baby.
Danger Talk. We out. Peace.
Yeah.